Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish. And today we're going to talk about expectations. I saw, we always, tape, if you will, record Saturday Night Live because we don't stay up that late. And we always tape, just to see what it's going to be. Sometimes, most of the times, we're just skipping through everything because it's so bad. But they had a really cute skit. If anybody saw Saturday Night Live this Saturday, I guess, they had one that was just so hilarious that I just fell on the floor laughing. And it was this expectation that it was a family who was all singing about all the stuff they got for Christmas. I got this, and I got the Nintendo, and I got the this and the that, and all the things that they received for Christmas. And mom says, and I got this robe. And then dad says, and I got this and that and this and that. And the kids say, we got this and that. And the mom said, and I got this robe. And it went all the way through. It was a song that they sang and showing all the things that they got. And at the very end, they said, oh, but wait, there's more at the very end. There's more. We forgot all of these presents. And the mom's thinking, oh, finally, they thought of me. And they said, it's for the dog. And then the dog's opening the presents. And it's really hilarious because how many times has this played out in families' living rooms all over the place, right? It has. Why? Because we have and set this expectation. We don't say a word about them. And we want this Norman Rockwell, kind of a Christmas with everything being beautiful, shiny, and bright. Don't we? Yes, we do. And everybody gets beautiful presents, and we have a beautiful meal, and then everybody tidies up after themselves, and we sit there and then we admire the Christmas tree and talk about how perfect everything was. It doesn't work out that way. No, never at all. As a matter of fact, great disappointment rather than great expectations. As a matter of fact, have you ever heard this? It's that expectations can become premeditated resentments. How about that? Premeditated resentments. And I agree with that somewhat, but I also think that expectations are really attachments to outcomes that we don't necessarily control because we haven't necessarily verbalized it either. Okay? This is big stuff, you guys, because I know, sure enough, as I'm sitting here, there is someone sitting on the opposite side of this broadcast watching it and saying, oh, I'm the mom with the robe, because it happens. You are the mom with the robe. You are the last one on the list. Go get mom a robe on the eve of Christmas because we forgot to get her something. It happens. So what do we want to do about this? Well, I just want to talk about this so that I can get you out of this place of massive disappointment and into the place of what it is that you want. You ready? First of all, disappointments are mostly, in my opinion, unexpressed desires, expectations of something that we want. The perfect Christmas, the perfect outcome, the perfect wedding. I did this with my daughter's wedding, my gosh. And at the very end of it, I was just, we had a lovely time, don't get me wrong, but then the end came and we had to clean up that big barn and, swollen feet and everything, had to do it. But this part and parcel is that with our expectations is going to come this tinge of it's not going to be exactly like you pictured it in your mind's eye. That's part of it. But I want to look at how you handle expectations and what you can exchange for this great expectation thing instead and get exactly what it is that you want. And the first thing is that you have to boldly set your expectations. And not only do you have to set them, but you got to tell your people about them. You can't do this by yourself. You can't have this whole thing going on in your mind if you're not going to, let somebody else in on what's going on. We can't live in fantasy island. We have to make a list, for example, of what we want. And if you're tired of getting a robe every year, you say, hey, people at the dinner table, I'm tired of a robe every year. This is what I want. If you guys want to know what I want, this is what I want. Now, I've heard people say before, well, it takes all the fun out of it. But nobody is going to read your mind. Nobody's going to know just the right thing. Every once in a while, that magic happens, but not for the most part, no. You know, we get paralyzed in our thinking and thinking, oh my gosh, how am I going to find the perfect gift? We go to Pinterest, we ask friends online, we do all these things trying to figure it out. When in reality, if we would just say something, we're going to get what we want. They're going to feel happy about giving you what you want. And we don't have to go through this exercise of futility. You know, it's really quite simple. So tell them what you want and just make it that simple. That's number one. And then number two is draft your brain into this whole thing. Because a lot of times people will say, well, you know, you've got to have realistic expectations. Well, I get that. I think we need to have realistic expectations when it comes to circumstances and when it comes to setting the table for a holiday or a wedding or something or whatever it is. Here's the thing, though. We gather evidence to support the very things that we're looking for the evidence for. Do you understand that? I mean, to me, that's so incredible. So if we can draft our brain into this and say, you know, this is what's going to happen, maybe drop, and not drop these obscure hints, but drop it out and just say, you know, it's going to be a lovely Christmas. We're going to have a beautiful Christmas dinner together. Then we're going to play games. This is what's going to be. And you tell them what it is. That's how you set up your expectation to start to meet you somewhere there in the middle. Not picture perfect. It's not a magazine that we're setting up for. This is real life. And there's going to be somebody's going to knock over a glass of milk. Somebody's going to make a mess. Somebody's going to cry. Someone's going to get disappointed. But if we can set the table for what it is that we want, you know, we're going to get what we want. I promise you, this is the truth every single time. Draft your brain to do it. Look for all of that, the evidence to support that, because it will show up, I promise. Number three, if you know what you want isn't going to happen for whatever reason, don't wait for it. Create it instead. You can do this. Have you ever heard of somebody buying your own Christmas presents? You can. You can just say, whoa, look what Santa gave me. Buy them yourself. Wrap them yourself. Put your name on them and make yourself count. I used to do this all the time with my stocking because I would find myself pouting because I didn't have anything in my stocking, or else I'd get like a chapstick or something that, you know, my kids, oh, suddenly they remembered. What about mom? You know, the mom with the robe. Well, you know what? Skip that. Skip that, because that puts a lot of pressure on everybody else and it doesn't work. If you can let go of this wanting to be surprised, wanting to have all these things, wanting to have everybody remember you and say how wonderful and everything that you are, boy, are you setting up for some misery come Christmas morning. You know, don't do that to yourself. Instead, create your own. Create it. Get the stuff that you want in your stocking. Go in there, you know, mask up, go get yourself. Lucy got tampons in her stocking. That's a good one. But you know, anything will work. I mean, I always do practical for stockings. I'll throw razors and socks and all kinds of stuff. Yeah, buy your own gifts. Do your own thing. Wrap them, put them there, and get it all out there. It's cool to do this, because when we do this, we're telling everybody, I count two. Don't forget about me, because I have everything here. Okay.
We're not closing the time.
Oh, we're not?
Later, so you got
Okay.
plenty of time.
Okay. Not closing in time. There goes my expectations. We are closing, but not till later. Okay. I guess they moved the time. Number 4 is there's this whole idea. We talked about this realistic and unrealistic, you know, but the expectation really is on you. It is. Because what you expect is if dependent on others, then you're not going to get what you want. But with what you expect is dependent on you creating it, then you are going to get it. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's just creating exactly the scenario that you want. You get to do that. And we get to do that when we put our expectations away and leave them alone. And instead of trotting out our vast disappointment in our family and our spouses and just making everything sad, You know, we get to create this. We get to create exactly what it is that we want. And we can do it not because we're resentful, not because we'll say, well, they'll never remember anyway, so screw them, I'm just going to do that. You know, can we just let go of all that stuff? Can we agree that we're grown-up women, that we're wise women, and that what we're doing here is we're creating a mood. We're creating so that everybody gets. We're creating so that we are a happy family together. And maybe, who knows, maybe next year your spouse or your kids will say, you know what? I'm sorry. I didn't do that, but you did it for yourself. Or maybe this will be the way that you do it from now on. Who cares? Does it really matter? Because at the end of the day, you want a moment with your family. You want to create a memory with them. You want to be with them. You want to love them up. And if you let all of this kind of stuff go and just say, you know, it's really, in the scheme of things, so unimportant, then you're going to have a lovely holiday. I had a girlfriend one time whose family always disappointed her, and she would go into this pout fest. Finally, I confronted her, and I said, this is disgusting. She was mad one time because they gave her the wrong roses. She had 24 roses on Mother's Day. They were the wrong color. And she said something. You know, they didn't even know the right color of my roses. Really? Do you want to be that woman? Or do you want to be a woman whose heart is open, full, loving, kind, generous, and so what if it's not perfect? Amen? Pinkies up, ladies. This is how we live a beautiful life. This is how we create vibrancy in our lives. We let the little things go and we expand on the big stuff. Expand on the big stuff. Because I'm telling you what, somebody got you flowers, that's something to rejoice in. Somebody did something for you, somebody got you even that stupid robe, rejoice. You know, the more gratitude we have for the things that, you know, are just even small things, the more our lives are going to expand, be better, be more vibrant, and be loving and caring and great. Yeah, you don't get that. You don't get that by being that woman. Never thankful, never enough, never perfect enough. When we do that, we set ourselves up for massive, massive disappointment. And the last thing is, when it all goes south, girlfriend, just go find something to be thankful for. Appreciate the fact that you have a roof over your head and warm water and a nice shower that night, or you can have a bath. Just gratitude, even for those things. Don't be that woman in a robe. Don't be alone in your vast disappointment, spewing all this stuff online about how nobody appreciates you and all of that. Nobody wants to listen to it, first of all. And number two, remember this, what you dwell upon, that's going to become your destiny. Because what we think about expands. That's never going to change, ever. You're creating memories today, this week, with your kids. You're creating memories. Think of ways that you can do something that's going to bring the joy up a notch, okay? We all want presents. We all want to be remembered. We all want to be loved up. But the more you love, the more you're going to get back in return. This is how it all works. Peace be with you. Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.